The year was 2150, and humanity had spread beyond Earth, building small colonies on Mars and Europa. At Frontier Station Omega, the farthest human outpost in space, diplomatic officer Samantha Miller stared out the viewport at the approaching alien ship. Its smooth curved design was unlike anything humans had built. "They're requesting permission to dock," said the young operator at the communications console. Samantha straightened her uniform. "Grant permission and alert, Commander." Rogers. This was it. First contact with the Galactic Confederation. After decades of searching the stars for other intelligent life, aliens had found them instead. Commander Alan Rogers joined her at the airlock, his weathered face showing both excitement and concern. "Remember, Miller, we represent all of humanity, today." "No pressure," Samantha said with a nervous smile. The airlock cycled open to reveal three beings. The one in front stood nearly 7 feet tall with iridescent blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the station lights. Its four eyes blinked independently of each other, and when it spoke, a small device at its throat translated its musical tones into English. "I am Ambassador Zix Voon of the Arcturian species, representing the Galactic Confederation. We greet the human species and welcome this opportunity for dialogue." Samantha stepped forward. "Ambassador Zix Voon, I am Diplomatic Officer Samantha Miller of Earth's United Government. On behalf of humanity, we welcome you to Frontier Station Omega." The following days were filled with meetings. Samantha quickly realized that despite their polite words, the aliens viewed humans as primitive newcomers. When she presented humanity's achievements, the aliens exchanged glances that needed no translation. They were unimpressed. "Your species has only recently achieved space travel," Zix Voon said during one session. "The Confederation includes species that have traveled the stars for thousands of your years. We may be new to space travel, but humans are quick learners," Samantha replied, keeping her tone friendly despite the condescension. The aliens seemed most interested in human emotions. During a cultural exchange, when Samantha showed recordings of human music, sports, and celebrations, the aliens leaned forward, their eyes widening. "Such range of emotional expression," one alien observer noted. "Fascinating, if somewhat concerning. Such primitive volatility must be monitored." Samantha bit her tongue. Later, in Commander Rogers' office, she let her frustration show. "They treat us like children, sir, or like dangerous pets that might bite if not handled carefully." Rogers nodded, his gray eyes thoughtful. "I've noticed. But we need this alliance, Miller. Earth's resources are stretched thin supporting our colonies. The technology the Confederation could share with us would solve many problems." "I understand, sir. I'll keep smiling and nodding, no matter how condescending they get." Over the next few months, the Confederation representatives began suggesting limits on human expansion. They cited safety concerns and galactic protocols, but their explanations were vague. "The Epsilon sector is not suitable for human habitation," Zix Voon stated during a mapping session. "Our surveys show perfectly habitable planets there," Samantha countered. "Your surveys are incomplete. There are considerations your instruments cannot detect." This pattern repeated. Areas rich in resources were suddenly declared off limits. Requests for specific technological assistance were denied for unclear reasons. One evening, Samantha found Zix Voon observing Earth from the station's main viewport. "Your homeworld is beautiful," the alien said. "So much water, so much life. The Confederation will ensure it stays protected." "Protected from what?" Samantha asked. Zix Voon turned all four eyes to her. "From everything, including perhaps its own inhabitants' ambitions." Samantha felt a chill. The message was clear. The Confederation didn't see humans as partners, but as something to be contained. In her private log that night, Samantha wrote, "First contact was supposed to be humanity's greatest moment. Instead, we've gained arrogant babysitters who won't share their toys. Commander Rogers says to be patient, that earning their respect will take time, but I wonder if they're capable of respecting us at all, or if they'll always see us as the primitive newcomers who need to be controlled rather than welcomed." She didn't know it yet, but the aliens' caution around humans went much deeper than simple condescension, and soon, They would reveal just how much they truly feared humanity's potential. 6 months had passed since first contact, and the situation was getting worse. The mining colony on the asteroid Ceres sent an urgent message to Earth Central Command. Their resources were running dangerously low. They needed permission to expand their mining operations into a nearby asteroid belt. When Samantha Miller brought the request to the Confederation representatives, they denied it immediately. The area is unsuitable for mining activities, Ambassador Zix Voon stated flatly, all 4 eyes blinking in a pattern Samantha had come to recognize as discomfort. Our surveys show no dangers, Samantha argued. Those asteroids contain metals our colonies desperately need. Your surveys are incomplete, Zix Voon repeated, using the same phrase that had become all too familiar. Commander Rogers decided to take action. He sent Lieutenant Paul Martinez to escort a scientific team to gather more data about the asteroid belt. Maybe with solid evidence, they could change the aliens' minds. Paul was a practical man who believed in facts over politics. His team included Dr. Olivia Bennett, a brilliant xenobiologist with a gift for understanding alien cultures. Their mission was simple: survey the asteroid belt thoroughly and find out why the Confederation was so against mining there. After 3 days of careful scanning, they found nothing unusual. The asteroids were rich in iron, nickel, and rare metals, exactly what the Ceres colony needed. There were no signs of alien outposts, unusual radiation, or any other dangers. This doesn't make sense, Paul said as they reviewed their findings on the survey ship. Why would they restrict access to something so ordinary? Olivia had been quiet, studying the mineral composition reports. Maybe it's not about what we see as valuable, she suggested. Look at these readings again. She pointed to a mineral that human miners would normally ignore, a common crystal with no particular use in human technology. This crystal appears in every restricted area we've been denied access to, she explained. I've cross-referenced all the Confederation's rejections over the past 6 months. This same mineral is always present. Paul frowned. But it's practically worthless. To us? Olivia agreed. But what if it has some special value to them? Their way back to Frontier Station, they witnessed a Confederation patrol ship harassing a human transport vessel that had strayed near a restricted zone. The transport was carrying medical supplies to Europa, but the alien ship forced it to change course, adding 3 days to its journey. Paul filed a formal complaint about the incident. Like all previous complaints, it was acknowledged but ignored. During the next diplomatic session, Samantha presented the scientific team's findings and demanded an explanation for the restrictions. These crystals, she said, showing images on the screen, appear in every area you've declared off limits. What is their significance? The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. Finally, an elder Arcturian named Vreltox spoke up. Those formations are sacred entities to many Confederation species. They contain unique resonance patterns that some believe hold cosmic significance. You're restricting our mining operations because of space crystals you consider sacred? Samantha was struggling to keep her voice level. Your species would not understand the spiritual implications, Zix Voon added dismissively. In time, perhaps, when humans have evolved beyond their material focus. Samantha had endured months of condescension, vague explanations, and unfair restrictions. The people on Ceres were facing shortages, while perfectly good resources sat untouched because of alien superstitions they refused to clearly explain. Ambassador, she said, her voice now completely calm, I've been patient. I've been respectful. I've followed every arbitrary rule you've imposed. But people's lives are at stake now, and you're still treating us like children who can't be trusted with the real reasons. So let me be perfectly clear. I'm actually getting annoyed. Something extraordinary happened. Every alien in the room physically recoiled. Zix Voon's blue skin paled to a sickly gray. The room fell completely silent. Then, with visible effort, Zix Voon composed himself. The mining request for the outer asteroid belt is approved. A formal permission document will be delivered tomorrow. The aliens hurriedly ended the meeting and left, still visibly disturbed. Samantha turned to find Commander Rogers staring at her with a puzzled expression. "What just happened?" he asked. "I have no idea," Samantha replied. "But I think we just found something very interesting about our new alien friends." 2 years passed since the strange incident in the diplomatic meeting. Human expansion had accelerated, though still under the watchful eyes of the Confederation. Whenever the aliens became too restrictive, human diplomats found that expressing frustration often led to unexpected concessions. No one understood why, but it worked. Captain Catherine Walsh commanded the exploration vessel Horizon, mapping star systems at the edge of human territory. She was tall with short brown hair and eyes that missed nothing. Her crew respected her calm approach to challenges and her unwavering focus on their mission. Greg Howard served as the Horizon's communications specialist. Unlike most of the crew, who focused on their specific jobs, Greg had a habit of watching and recording alien behaviors. Over months of interactions with various species, he'd begun to notice something unusual. One quiet evening, he knocked on the captain's door with his tablet in hand. "Captain, I think I've found a pattern you should see," Greg said, placing his tablet on her desk. "What am I looking at?" Catherine asked, studying the collection of video clips. "These are recordings of our interactions with different alien species over the past year," Greg explained. "Watch their reactions when humans express annoyance or frustration." The videos showed diplomatic meetings, trade negotiations, and even casual interactions. In each one, when a human showed signs of genuine irritation, the aliens responded with unmistakable fear. "This can't be coincidence," Greg said. "It happens with every species we've met. When humans say they're annoyed, aliens get scared." Catherine frowned. "That's an interesting theory, Howard, but it could be cultural misunderstanding." The next day, the Horizon approached a promising planet for survey. According to their agreement with the Confederation, this area was approved for human exploration. But as they entered orbit, 3 Taurian patrol ships appeared and blocked their path. The Taurians were a militaristic species that served as peacekeepers for the Confederation. Their captain, a gray-skinned humanoid with ridge-like features, named Drakvor, appeared on the view screen. "Human vessel, this area is temporarily restricted. Return to your previous coordinates." Catherine stood from her chair. "Captain Drakvor, we have permission to survey this planet. Our mission was approved last month." "The situation has changed," the Taurian replied without explanation. "Leave immediately." Catherine tried diplomatic approaches for nearly an hour, but the Taurians wouldn't budge or explain. Her crew grew restless, and the survey team was eager to begin their work. Greg caught her eye from his station and nodded slightly, reminding her of their conversation. Catherine straightened her uniform and addressed the view screen again. "Captain Drakvor, we've been patient and followed protocol, but I must inform you that I'm getting really annoyed now." The effect was immediate. The Taurian captain's ridged face showed alarm. He stepped back from his screen and spoke quickly to his officers. "We apologize for the inconvenience," Drakvor said, his voice notably higher. "There has been a miscommunication. You may proceed with your survey." Taurian patrol signing off. All 3 ships quickly moved away, leaving the path clear. The bridge fell silent as the crew exchanged confused glances. "That was interesting," Catherine said finally. Greg was already reviewing the recording. "Did you see how his pupils dilated? Classic fear response, and his subordinates too, they all showed physical signs of alarm." Catherine nodded slowly. "Send all your data to Earth Central Command. Mark it priority and encrypt it. I think you've discovered something important, Howard." Over the next few weeks, Greg compiled more evidence. He noted physiological responses, pupils dilating, skin color changing, breathing patterns shifting. These reactions occurred across different alien species whenever humans expressed genuine annoyance. When they returned to Earth space, Catherine found a classified message waiting. Earth Central Command had created a secret project called Threshold to investigate the phenomenon. They wanted Greg's complete records and requested Catherine's presence at a high-level briefing. "Whatever this is," Catherine told Greg as they prepared their report, "it goes beyond cultural differences. They're afraid of us. specifically afraid of human anger. The question is, why? Greg looked thoughtful. More importantly, what happens if they ever stop being afraid? Project Threshold operated from a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains on Earth. Here, the brightest minds in human science worked to understand the strange effect humans had on alien species. Dr. Frank Winters led the research team. He was a quiet man with thick glasses and a mind that never stopped working. His partner, Dr. Nicole Carter, specialized in alien psychology. Together, they studied thousands of recorded interactions between humans and various alien species. "Look at this brain scan," Frank said one morning, pointing to a screen showing colorful images of an alien brain. "This is an Arcturian during normal conversation." Nicole nodded, her dark curls bouncing. "And this one?" "The same Arcturian when a human said they were getting annoyed. See these areas lighting up? That's their fear center going into overdrive." Nicole frowned. "But why? There must be something we're missing." They tested everything. They recorded human voices saying the same phrases in different tones. They measured human body temperature, heart rate, and brain activity during various emotional states. For months, they found nothing conclusive. The breakthrough came when Frank decided to measure electromagnetic fields. He discovered that humans emitted a unique pattern when genuinely annoyed or frustrated, a pattern that was invisible to human instruments until they specifically looked for it. "It's like a warning signal," Frank explained to the project director. "When humans get truly annoyed, we broadcast this pattern, and every alien species can detect it." "But why would they evolve to fear a signal from humans?" the director asked. "We only met them 2 years ago." "That's what we need to find out," Nicole added. "This isn't random. They recognize this pattern from somewhere." Meanwhile, Earth's diplomatic corps had been quietly using this knowledge. Chief negotiator Eric Jackson developed techniques to use controlled annoyance in critical negotiations. Eric was a skilled diplomat with 30 years of experience. Now in his 50s, his gray hair and calm demeanor made aliens feel safe, until he needed them not to. In a secure room, Eric trained other diplomats. "The key is genuine feeling," he explained. "You can't fake it. They detect the difference, somehow." "So we need to actually be annoyed?" a young diplomat asked. "Precisely. Think about something that truly frustrates you when you need to trigger the response." This approach had dramatically improved Earth's position in the galactic community. Trade agreements now favored humans. Restricted areas opened for exploration. Human colonies expanded faster than ever before. But Project Threshold made another discovery that changed everything. While analyzing alien communications, they found that the Confederation referred to humans as the contained ones in their private messages. Frank brought this finding to the team. "They know something we don't," he said. "They've been containing us deliberately." Nicole had been searching ancient alien records that the Confederation had shared. Most were scientific or cultural texts, carefully selected, but she found references to something called the World Breakers in several historical documents. "I think they're connected," she said. "These World Breakers were feared throughout the galaxy, but the records don't say why, just that they caused great destruction before they disappeared." "How long ago?" Frank asked. "About 50,000 years based on their calendar conversion." Frank looked thoughtful. "Around the time Homo sapiens was emerging on Earth." The team compiled their findings in a top-secret report. Humans emitted a specific electromagnetic pattern when annoyed that triggered fear responses in all known alien species. This pattern matched fragmentary references in alien historical records about dangerous beings called world breakers. Their conclusion was stunning. Aliens feared humans because they recognized them as descendants of a species that once terrified the galaxy. Eric Jackson received new instructions from Earth Central Command. Use the knowledge carefully, don't exploit it unnecessarily, and find out why the aliens called humans the contained ones. No one yet realized that events were already in motion that would force humanity to confront its forgotten past, and the real reason why all species run when humans say they're getting annoyed. 3 years had passed since the discovery of humanity's strange effect on alien species. In that time, humans had spread further into space, establishing new colonies and trade routes. But peace in the galaxy was about to be tested. The Voldari were newcomers to the Galactic Confederation. They were tall, muscular beings with gray skin and sharp features that reminded humans of ancient stone statues. Unlike other species, the Voldari seemed unimpressed by the warnings about humans. They saw the galaxy as theirs to take. On Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, humans had built their largest off-Earth colony. Over 10,000 people lived under its ice dome, mining the resources of the frozen moon. Governor Laura Peterson managed the colony with firm but fair leadership. She had dealt with many challenges, but nothing prepared her for the message that appeared on her screen one morning. Human colony. This is Commander Breknar of the Voldari expansion fleet. Your settlement occupies a location of strategic value to the Voldari Dominion. You have 48 hours to evacuate before we claim this moon. Laura immediately contacted John Russell, her security chief. John was a former military man with a calm approach to danger. Can we defend ourselves? Laura asked. John shook his head. We have a small security force and minimal weapons, nothing that could stop a fleet. Then we need help, Laura said, sending an emergency message to Earth. Earth Central Command responded immediately. They dispatched their best ship, carrying Admiral Samantha Miller, the same Samantha who had first discovered the effect of human annoyance years ago. She had risen through the ranks quickly, known for her cool head in crisis situations. While the diplomatic team raced toward Europa, Laura and John prepared evacuation plans. They hoped it wouldn't come to that, but they needed to be ready. The children and essential personnel first, John said, looking at the colony maps. We can fit about 2,000 people on our transport ships. And the other 8,000? Laura asked. John didn't answer. They both knew there weren't enough ships to evacuate everyone in time. The Voldari fleet arrived in Jupiter's orbit, 5 massive warships that dwarfed anything humans had built. They positioned themselves around Europa, weapons ready. Admiral Miller's ship, the Defender, reached Europa just hours before the Voldari deadline. Her team prepared for emergency talks with Commander Breknar. Remember what we know about them, Samantha told her team. The Voldari joined the Confederation recently. They may not believe the stories about humans. The meeting took place via video link. Commander Breknar's face filled the screen. Gray skin, yellow eyes, and a mouth full of sharp teeth. Admiral Miller, your reputation precedes you, Breknar said with a smile that showed too many teeth. But reputation will not save this colony. Europa's position and resources are valuable to us. Commander, this colony is home to 10,000 civilians, Samantha replied calmly. We request more time to discuss this matter. Request denied. The evacuation deadline stands. For hours, Samantha tried every diplomatic approach. She offered trade agreements, shared resource rights, even access to human technology. The Voldari commander rejected everything. Perhaps you misunderstand, Breknar said finally. This is not a negotiation. If your people remain when the deadline expires, we will remove them ourselves. You're threatening orbital bombardment of a civilian colony? Samantha asked, her voice dangerously quiet. If necessary. Your reputation for making species fear you is exaggerated, Admiral. The Voldari do not scare easily. Samantha looked at the colony's life support readings on her screen. 10,000 lives depended on her next words. Her team watched nervously, knowing what might come next. She straightened in her chair and looked directly at the alien commander. Breknar, I've been patient. I've offered you reasonable alternatives. I've treated you with respect despite your threats against civilians. But I need you to understand something very clearly. She paused, making sure she had his full attention. Now I'm actually getting annoyed. The moment those words left Admiral Miller's mouth, something extraordinary happened. Commander Breknar's yellow eyes widened in shock. His gray skin paled to an ashy white. For several seconds he couldn't speak. Then, without explanation, the entire Voldari fleet began to move. They pulled away from Europa, retreating to the edge of Jupiter's orbit. What just happened? John Russell asked, watching the tactical display as the warships withdrew. On the screen, Breknar had recovered enough to speak. "We will consider your proposals." The transmission cut off abruptly. The bridge of the Defender fell silent. Samantha's team exchanged looks of relief and confusion. "It worked again," Samantha said quietly. "But why are they so afraid?" Her question was answered faster than she expected. Within hours, 3 Confederation diplomatic vessels arrived. Lead ship carried Elder Kixtal, one of the oldest and most respected members of the Galactic Confederation. Kixtal was small and frail-looking, with pale green skin that had faded with age. 4 assistants helped the ancient alien aboard the Defender for an emergency meeting. "Admiral Miller," Kixtal said in a thin voice, "a most unfortunate situation has developed. The Voldari are new to our ways. They did not heed our warnings about humans." "What warnings exactly?" Samantha asked. "It's time for straight answers, Elder Kixtal." The old alien sighed. "Yes, perhaps it is." He turned to his assistants. "Leave us." When they were alone, Kixtal's demeanor changed. He stood straighter, seeming less frail than before. "What I am about to tell you is known only to the highest levels of Confederation leadership. It concerns your species' true nature." "We're listening," Samantha said. 50,000 of your Earth years ago, the galaxy trembled before a species called the Tlacan. Your kind would call them the World Breakers. They possessed powers that made them nearly unstoppable. They could project their emotions as weapons, paralyzing enemies with fear, controlling minds with anger. Samantha leaned forward. "What happened to them?" "A coalition of species fought a terrible war against them. Millions died. Finally, the Tlacan were defeated through biological warfare. A virus was created that attacked their unique brain structure, removing their ability to project emotions as weapons." Kixtal paused, his eyes fixed on Samantha. "The surviving Tlacan were quarantined on a primitive world in an isolated solar system. Your world, Admiral. Earth." The implications hit Samantha like a physical blow. "You're saying humans are these world breakers?" "Their descendants, yes. The virus altered your ancestors' genetic structure and memory. Over generations, you evolved without your most dangerous abilities. But traces remain, particularly the warning signal your kind emits when genuinely angered. All species in the galaxy recognize this signal instinctively. It triggers ancient fear responses hardwired into our nervous systems." John Russell, who had been silent until now, spoke up. "So when humans say we're annoyed, you unknowingly activate a small portion of your ancestral power." Kixtal finished. "A shadow of what once was, but enough to trigger panic in other species." "Is that why you call us the Contained Ones?" Samantha asked. The elder nodded. "For 50,000 years, the Confederation has monitored Earth, ensuring your species remained isolated. When you developed space travel, we could no longer contain you. Instead, we've tried to guide your development, prevent you from rediscovering your full potential." "Those arbitrary restrictions on our expansion," Samantha realized. "The technology you wouldn't share." "Yes, the crystals you sought to mine hold properties that might have helped reawaken dormant abilities in your kind." The room fell silent as the humans processed this information. They weren't just a young species finding their place in the galaxy. They were the descendants of a feared power that had once dominated the stars. "What happens now?" Samantha finally asked. "The Voldari have withdrawn their claims on Europa," Kixtal said. "They'll trouble your colonies no more. But this incident has forced the Confederation to reconsider its approach to humanity." "Meaning what exactly?" "Your species knows too much now. The path forward must be one of truth and cooperation, not containment and deception. The question is, can humanity be trusted with knowledge of its true heritage?" The news about humanity's true origins spread quickly among Earth's leadership. In a secure meeting room deep within Earth's Central Command, the most powerful humans in the solar system gathered to decide how to use this knowledge. Admiral Bill Harper, the head of Earth's defense forces, paced the room. He was a tall man with a stern face and strong opinions. "This changes everything," he said. "For centuries we thought we were alone in the universe. Then we learned we were newcomers, in a galaxy of ancient species. Now we discover we're the monsters they've been afraid of all along." President Maria Alvarez, a small woman with fierce eyes, watched him carefully. "Not monsters, Admiral. Our ancestors were feared, yes, but we are not them." Dr. Olivia Bennett, from Project Threshold, had been invited to share her research. The genetic differences between modern humans and these world breakers must be significant after 50,000 years of evolution. We retain only traces of their abilities. But, could we regain them? Admiral Harper asked. If these abilities are in our DNA, could we reactivate them? The room grew quiet. It was the question everyone was thinking, but few wanted to ask. Possibly, Dr. Bennett admitted. But should we? The Confederation feared these powers enough to quarantine an entire species for 50,000 years. Admiral, Harper smiled without humor. And kept us contained, limited our expansion, withheld technology. Maybe it's time for humans to claim our rightful place. Our rightful place? President Alvarez shook her head. What exactly are you suggesting, Admiral? I'm suggesting we use this advantage. For centuries, Earth struggled with limited resources. Now we know we have leverage. Every species in the galaxy is afraid of us. We should use that fear. To do what? Admiral Samantha Miller asked. She had been quiet until now, listening to the debate. Conquer? Intimidate? Is that who we want to be? Harper turned to her. They've been manipulating us from the beginning, Samantha, treating us like dangerous children. Don't you think it's time they showed some respect? Respect earned through... Fear isn't respect at all, Samantha countered. President Alvarez raised her hand. We need protocols for using this knowledge. Clear ethical guidelines. Agreed, Dr. Bennett said. We should cooperate with the Confederation, not threaten them. As Earth's leaders debated, they didn't know that others were already taking action. On Mars, at a remote communications station, a group of humans had their own plans for humanity's newfound power. Their leader was Doug Pierce, a former soldier with burn scars on the left side of his face. He had fought in the early border disputes between Earth colonies before first contact. Now he led a group called Terra Ascendant that believed humanity should rule the stars. For too long, we've been held back, Doug told his followers as they worked on a massive communications array. The aliens kept us weak, kept us ignorant of our true nature. But now we know what we are. His second-in-command, a computer specialist named Lisa Owens, looked up from her terminal. The modifications are complete. This array can broadcast on all Confederation frequencies. Doug nodded with satisfaction. And the amplifier? Ready, another follower confirmed. When activated, it will boost the emotional projection pattern by at least 500%. What Doug and his team had built was a weapon, one that could broadcast amplified human annoyance signals across vast distances. Based on stolen research from Project Threshold, they believed it could paralyze alien ships, maybe even entire planets, with fear. When we activate this, Doug said, his scarred face solemn, we show the galaxy that humans will no longer be contained. The age of the world breakers will return. Little did they know that their actions would soon force humanity to make a crucial choice about its place in the galaxy. And on the exploration vessel Horizon, Captain Catherine Walsh was about to receive an urgent message that would put her directly in the path of this threat. Captain Catherine Walsh received the emergency message while the Horizon was returning from a mapping mission. The orders were clear. Go to Mars immediately. A rogue group called Terra Ascendant had taken control of a communications array and planned to use it as a weapon against alien species. How long until we reach Mars? Catherine asked her pilot. 3 hours at top speed, Captain. Catherine gathered her crew and explained the situation. These extremists have built a device that can amplify and broadcast the emotional pattern that causes aliens to fear us. If they activate it, they could cause panic across half the galaxy. What would that do? Asked Greg Howard, who had first discovered the pattern years ago. Imagine thousands of ships suddenly paralyzed with fear. Space stations thrown into chaos. It could lead to accidents, deaths, maybe even war. Catherine's voice was grim. The Horizon raced toward Mars, pushing its engines to the limit. Meanwhile, Doug Pierce and his Terra Ascendant followers prepared to activate their device. Final checks complete, Lisa Owens reported. The array is aligned with the main Confederation trade routes. Maximum impact. Doug smiled. Begin the countdown. 10 minutes until broadcast. Inside their Martian facility, screens showed the positions of hundreds of alien ships that would soon be caught in their signal. Doug believed this show of power would establish humans as the dominant species in the galaxy. The Horizon landed at the Mars colony with just minutes to spare. Catherine led a team including Greg Howard toward the communications facility. They carried stunners, not lethal weapons. Remember, they're humans too, Catherine told her team. We disable them, without causing permanent harm. They reached the facility's outer door. Inside, the countdown was at 3 minutes. We don't have time to break in, Greg said, looking at the reinforced door. Catherine made a quick decision. We don't need to. She activated her communicator on an emergency frequency that would transmit to every device in the facility. This is Captain Catherine Walsh of the Horizon. Doug Pierce, I need you to stop what you're doing and listen to me. Inside, Doug paused. Keep the countdown going, he told Lisa. Let's hear what the captain has to say. I understand why you're doing this, Catherine continued. You think you're helping humanity claim its rightful place, but you're wrong. The aliens feared and contained us for thousands of years, Doug responded. It's their turn to know fear. And then what? Catherine asked. After you terrify half the galaxy, what comes next? They outnumber us by billions. They have technologies we can barely understand. If they decide we're too dangerous to live with, we won't survive the response. The countdown reached 1 minute. We are what we choose to be, Doug, Catherine said. Our ancestors may have been world breakers, but we don't have to repeat their mistakes. We can be something better. World builders, bridge makers. Doug looked at the countdown, then at his followers. Some looked uncertain now. 30 seconds, Lisa announced. Outside, Catherine's team prepared to breach the door, knowing they would be too late. But inside, Doug Pierce was thinking about Catherine's words. He touched the scars on his face, remembering the war that had given them to him, remembering the cost of fear and anger. Stop the countdown, he said finally. What? Lisa looked shocked. Stop it. The captain's right. This isn't who we should be. The countdown froze at 7 seconds. Hours later, representatives from Earth and the Confederation gathered. The Terra Ascendant members were taken into custody, but their actions had forced a new conversation about humanity's place in the galaxy. Dr. Frank Winters presented a new technology, a dampening device that humans could wear to prevent unintentional intimidation of other species. This isn't about containing ourselves, Samantha Miller explained to the gathered diplomats. It's about choosing who we want to be. Kixtau looked at the assembled humans with new respect. Perhaps the descendants have indeed grown wiser than their ancestors. Within a year, humans began taking leadership roles in the Confederation, valued for their unique perspectives and problem-solving abilities. Human ships adopted a new motto that spread throughout the galaxy. Handle with care, contents under pressure. The phrase "I'm getting annoyed" became something of a joke among humans, but other species still stepped back when they heard it, just to be safe.